Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a nice weekend. Just a quick video today to go through some of my favorite chart setups for next week. So as I always mention, during the weekends I go through a ton of charts and I save my favorite ones in a focused watch list or buy list for the upcoming week. So I wanted to share some of the names from that list with you. So hopefully you find it helpful. First one here is ERI. This one here, you can see this yellow area, 4650 or so was resistance here in May and June. July, broke above it in August, came back to retest it successfully. Now it's sitting just above that area. So it's been trading in a really tight range the last couple weeks. So if it starts moving up out of this range, we'll say above, $49 or so, this would be one that I'd look to enter. In a stop would be under that yellow box. I wouldn't want it under the yellow box, but if it starts pulling up and pulling away from the current levels, I think this one might be setting up for a potential run. So that's ERI. Next one is INXN. This has this level here around 66.50. That's been resistance a number of times throughout the year. Broke above it. Now it's coming to retest it. Had a nice day Friday, kind of dug in right at that level. So if this one gets some movement on Monday and starts looking like it wants to turn up, I think this looks like a good buy here as long as that 66, 66.50 level holds. Next one here is RXN. I'm going to zoom out to the weekly on this one. This has a level here, we'll call it 3050 or so, goes all the way back to 2014, was resistance, and then just kind of consolidated right underneath that level for basically the entire year before breaking above it 2 weeks ago. And now it's kind of coming back to retest that. So here's the closer look of the daily. So if this can hold and start pulling off that 50, maybe if it starts trading above $31, I would look to enter this one on the long side with the stop, just below $30 or so. Next one here, GTLS. This one has in June, it hit a high here of 74 that acted as resistance. Came back on that big gap up to move above that, and then just kind of been consolidating just above it. That level has held. It hasn't pulled away. It's just kind of been digesting those gains. So if this one can pull above out of that range, we'll call it, say if it moves above 79 or so, that would likely trigger a buy from me in GTLS. So another one to watch. Next one here is SHLO. I like this one quite a bit. This has a level here that's been pretty important. We'll call it 1075 or so. It was support here back in May of 2017. And then in October, acted as resistance. Came back again to give it a look here in late May, early June, resistance again. And then after a little bit of consolidation, it finally broke above it in September. Now it's back to retest that level. So if it starts pulling away, from this $11 level, I think this is a very nice looking buy, again, because our risk is defined. And underneath this yellow box, you don't want it. So going in what your potential loss is. And I think this one might have a decent amount of upside here. So that's SHLO. Next one, a lot of aerospace and defense names on my radar this week. So this is, this has a level here around $140. Again, resistance here all these times. Broke above it. Now it's coming back to retest it. So if this level holds, I think this one looks very attractive on the long side. Another aerospace and defense name. So I primarily trade breakouts through key areas or retests of those areas. So a lot of these have been retests like COL, SHLO, and then this is one that has potential to break out. It hasn't done so yet, but you can see it had this huge gap up here, probably the earnings announcement there, and then it's just kind of been consolidating those gains. So it's been trading in a pretty orderly range here, kind of a rectangle. So if it breaks above this $41 level or so, that could trigger a buy from me, and then you can put your stop a little bit under that level. So this is DCO, and if that moves up, I think it looks like a nice buy for next week potentially. Same with Boeing. I'll zoom out to the weekly here. This has a level, we'll call it 370, 371 resistance here back early in the year. This summer, couldn't quite crack above it. Now it's right back there again. What I like about this one is it couldn't crack it here. This is, a week ago, Friday, 9/21, pulled back a little, but a really shallow pullback, and then buyers kind of stepped in again. So sometimes when you're looking to break above a big level and there's a shallow pullback, sometimes that could be an indication that it's ready to break above that. So I like to look here in BA. I'll wait for it to move up a few more dollars from the current level before I consider it a buy. But I like what I see here, and how it's dealing with this key level. So a move above that would potentially bring in a lot of buyers here in Boeing. So one on the radar there. This one is NTR. I actually bought this one on a retest of this 54.50 level, and I sold it here as it approached the all-time highs. Let me clarify. I sold half of it here for some decent gain, 6% or so. But I like, similar to BA, it has this shallow pullback now. So if this can get ready and pull above this $59 level out of this consolidation, I think this one could be ready to make a run. So if this one pulls above that level next week, I have half the position now, but I'll likely add another half to get myself back to a full position in NTR. So I like what I see here. Last one here, FSCT. This is similar to a lot of these other ones. This is a pullback trade here, about $38. Resistance here, all these times here. Finally broke above it. Now we're coming back to retest it. So if it starts pulling off this 38 level or so, I think this one looks like a nice buy to the long side with a stop slightly below. So those are some of my favorite setups for next week. Again, hopefully you found it helpful. If you're interested, please check out ttptrading.com. It's myself and CJ Agresta. We provide nightly updates, live portfolio tracking, of course, live trade alerts, and other money management and educational materials such as that. So feel free to check out the site. Hopefully you all have a great trading week, and we'll see you next weekend. Thank you.